In the early hours of Christmas Eve 1994, the world was about to witness a heart-stopping drama unfold high in the skies. Air France Flight 8969, a routine journey from Houari Boumedienne Airport in Algeria to Orly Airport, Paris, was on the brink of becoming a nightmarish battleground. Little did the unsuspecting passengers and crew know that they were about to face an unprecedented hijacking orchestrated by a cunning and ruthless enemy. Were they saved? What happened that evening? This is the story of bravery and an amazing work done by the GIGN. Watch ahead to uncover this heroic tale. As the Airbus A300 B21C tail number FGBEC stood on the tarmac, a group of 4 terrorists hailing from the Algerian terrorist group GIA plotted their sinister scheme. Disguised as Algerian presidential police, they infiltrated the aircraft with calculated precision. Their blue uniforms adorned with Air Algeria logos, the perfect facade to deceive even the most vigilant eyes. The flight was scheduled to embark on its journey at 11:05 a.m. local time, and for a fleeting moment, everything appeared ordinary. Other passengers on board had no reason to suspect the presence of these imposters, who initially masqueraded as security agents, diligently checking passports with practiced ease. But as the sun climbed higher in the sky, the atmosphere inside the aircraft would take a chilling turn, plunging everyone aboard into a vortex of fear and desperation. As the clock ticked towards 11:05 a.m. local time, the scheduled departure, a group of 4 individuals disguised as Algerian presidential police subtly made their way onto the plane. Their blue uniforms adorned with Air Algeria logos masked their sinister intentions from unsuspecting eyes. Meanwhile, a sense of suspicion spread among the Algerian military as they noticed an unusual delay with Air France Flight 8969. With quick reflexes, they strategically surrounded the aircraft, their alertness heightened, and among the operators present was the elite Algerian Special Intervention Group, GIS, ready for any unexpected turn of events. Inside the plane, a sense of unease began to grow as the hijackers caught sight of the GIS operators gathering outside. One of the terrorists let out a chilling cry, shouting, "Dahoud!" an Arabic term that sent shivers down the crew's spines. In that moment, the crew knew with a sinking feeling that their flight had been hijacked by dangerous individuals. Initially, the other passengers on board were oblivious to the true identity of the alleged security agents who had smoothly boarded the plane. Oblivious to the looming danger, they assumed these individuals were conducting routine passport checks. However, in a terrifying turn of events, the agents abruptly revealed their deadly arsenal of Uzi and AK-47 assault rifles. Within moments, Air France Flight 8969 fell under the control of the ruthless hijackers. The terrorists wasted no time in asserting their dominance, barricading themselves within the aircraft's confines. Tragically, their first act of horror was the cold-blooded murder of 2 innocent passengers. The lives of an Algerian police officer and a Vietnamese diplomat were brutally taken as a gruesome display of their unwavering commitment to their sinister cause. As chaos engulfed the flight, the French government was quickly alerted to the hijacking through their intelligence channels. French intelligence agents who were already monitoring Algerian military and police radio traffic detected a disturbance at the airport. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the government promptly placed their elite counterterrorism unit, GIGN, on high alert, ready to respond to this unfolding crisis. The tense and high-stakes negotiation process was personally led by the Algerian Interior Minister, who played the role of intermediary between the terrorists and the authorities. The hijackers used the pilot as a conduit for communication during the 4 hours of intense talks. Eventually, a glimmer of hope emerged as the notorious GIA cell members agreed to release some of the hostages. Following their liberation, the freed hostages provided detailed descriptions of the terrorists, enabling the Algerian intelligence services to swiftly identify the perpetrators, including their formidable leader, Abdullah Yahia. The terrorists exhibited an alarming level of determination, meticulous planning, and a chilling, cold-blooded demeanor that sent shivers down the spines of those who encountered them. However, as the hours ticked on and the situation remained perilous, the French government made a crucial decision. Nearly 9 hours into the hijacking and hostage crisis, they issued the order for GIGN to take action. 35 elite GIGN operators were swiftly mobilized, departing from Paris and flying to Palma de Mallorca in Spain, where they awaited further instructions. Despite the French government's willingness to lend their expertise and support, the Algerian government remained hesitant to accept international assistance, even from the highly trained GIGN forces. The tense situation was further complicated by political considerations and the complexities of international cooperation. As the clock continued to tick, both the hostages and the GIGN operators found themselves in a tense and uncertain situation, unsure of what the next moments would bring. The day after the harrowing hijacking, the terrorists were adamant about flying the hijacked plane to Paris, but the Algerian security forces stood resolute, refusing to allow it to take off. In a desperate attempt to exert pressure, the hijackers made a chilling threat to kill a French passenger. Tragically, when the Algerian authorities refused to yield their demands, the terrorists carried out their heinous act, adding another layer of urgency to the already tense situation. In response to the escalating crisis, the French Prime Minister urgently contacted his Algerian counterpart, demanding that the plane be allowed to depart. Finally, on December 26, 1994, after a period of tense negotiations and international pressure, the aircraft was cleared to leave Algeria and head to France. On the same day, the GIGN operators were en route to Algeria, prepared for any eventuality. However, they received an abrupt change of orders and were rerouted to Marseille. Additional GIGN reinforcements were swiftly dispatched to Marseille, increasing the number of operators to 51. The GIGN's aircraft touched down at the Marseille airport ahead of the hijacked plane. As Air France Flight 8969 landed in Marseille, the negotiators immediately engaged in talks with the terrorists, seeking to buy time for the GIGN to devise a daring plan. As 5 o'clock approached, there was still no sign of the fuel delivery for Air France Flight 8969. The hijackers were well aware that the French negotiators were stationed in the control tower. Seizing the moment to send a chilling message, one of the terrorists opened the side window of the cockpit and rained bullets upon the control tower. The sound of gunfire echoed through the air, shattering glass all around. The tension had been building since the aircraft landed in Marseille, but nothing could have prepared the people inside for what was about to unfold. The elite operators began meticulously planning a rescue raid, conducting thorough assessments of the plane for potential entry points and checking for any booby traps. They also discreetly installed listening devices on the aircraft chassis to gather crucial intelligence. Throughout the tense negotiations, the GIGN team knew they had to act swiftly. The terrorists grew increasingly impatient, expressing their desire to take off again and leave Marseille. Major Favier had been given carte blanche by the French Prime Minister Edouard Balladur, and he knew the time had come to act. The terrorists' aggressive actions had escalated, endangering everyone inside the plane and justifying the need for an armed attack. With this authorization, the GIGN prepared for the assault. The cavalry charge was initiated, as seen in the actual footage, with 8 brave members advancing towards the aircraft via mobile vehicles. With the clock ticking, the GIGN prepared to execute a high-stakes rescue mission that would test their skills, courage, and determination to their limits. The stage was set for a dramatic and potentially perilous showdown between the elite forces and the cold-blooded hijackers. In the late afternoon of December 26, 1994, tension reached its peak as the terrorists' impatience boiled over. At 16:45 hours, they forcefully opened one of the plane's doors and unleashed a hail of bullets upon the control tower, escalating the crisis to a critical point. With the lives of hostages hanging in the balance, the GIGN received the long-awaited green light for action. At 17:17 hours, under intense pressure, 3 highly trained 8-man GIGN teams sprang into action. Swiftly approaching the aircraft, they utilized 3 mobile ramps for entry, but immediately encountered a terrorist who opened fire. As the air stairs reached the aircraft, the GIGN faced a small obstacle with the door's height. Nevertheless, they persevered, and the door was finally opened. The moment the group entered, they were met with a torrent of gunfire from the terrorists, who were determined to kill anyone to infiltrate the plane. The situation inside became chaotic, with smoke, bullets, and grenades creating a life-threatening atmosphere. The first team valiantly stormed through the front door, only to face a barrage of bullets, resulting in injuries to the first 6 operators who entered the plane. Undeterred, the other 2 teams swiftly entered the aircraft through the rear doors, engaging in a fierce firefight with the terrorists. Incredibly, within a mere 90 seconds of the GIGN's daring assault, the first hostages were successfully evacuated alongside the wounded operators. The remaining terrorists retreated to the cockpit, taking cover in an attempt to fend off the relentless GIGN onslaught. At the rear of the plane, 2 other squads of GIGN members entered, encountering the same deadly onslaught from the terrorists. Amid the mayhem, the passengers and crew sought safety, doing their best to protect themselves from the relentless hail of bullets. The scene was one of intense violence and fear, with individuals doing whatever they could to survive the nightmarish ordeal. The aircraft became a battleground with bravery and determination on full display, as the elite operators relentlessly pursued the hijackers, ensuring the safety of the hostages were their top priority. The high-stakes rescue mission was underway, and the GIGN demonstrated their extraordinary skills and bravery, engaging in a fierce and relentless firefight with the hijackers. The safety of the hostages was paramount, and the elite forces fought with unwavering resolve to neutralize the threat and bring an end to the terrifying hijacking. The stage was set for a climatic showdown in the confined space of the aircraft's cockpit, where the fate of the hostages and the success of the rescue mission would be decided. In the intense standoff within the cockpit, the GIGN hesitated to storm directly, knowing the terrorists held the pilot and steward as hostages. However, the co-pilot had bravely jumped out of one of the cockpit windows at the beginning of the attack, escaping the clutches of the hijackers. As the 2 terrorists inside the cockpit continued to engage in a fierce exchange of fire with the GIGN, a daring attempt was made to use a flashbang grenade to disorient them. Unfortunately, the grenade had little effect on the determined terrorists. Meanwhile, outside the aircraft, the GIGN snipers strategically positioned on surrounding airport buildings as roofs were given the order to open fire on the remaining terrorists inside the cockpit. Amidst the relentless gunfire and explosions, fear and desperation gripped the passengers and the crew. Many sought cover and tried to remain as inconspicuous as possible, hoping to survive the terrifying ordeal. The situation was dire, but the brave actions of the GIGN against overwhelming odds were gradually turning the tide of the battle. The incredible display of skill, bravery, and precision showcased by the GIGN solidified their status as heroes. In a relentless 17-minute-long assault, the GIGN's remarkable operation ended with resounding success. The intense battle involved over 1,500 rounds being fired, leading to the elimination of all 4 hijackers. While 3 innocent passengers tragically lost their lives, the heroic efforts of the GIGN ensured the safe rescue of 173 people, sparing them from a devastating fate. The damage inflicted upon the Airbus A300 during the raid was so severe that the aircraft was deemed irreparable and written off. Despite the loss of the aircraft, the brave crew of the A300 and courageous GIGN forces were recognized with high national honors for their unwavering dedication and exceptional display of heroism during the crisis. The investigation into the incident uncovered a chilling revelation. The terrorists had planned to carry out a catastrophic detonation of the aircraft over the iconic Eiffel Tower. This startling claim came from the former leader of the militant group, exposing the magnitude of the danger that had loomed over the city of Paris. Thanks to the timely and decisive action of the GIGN, this nefarious plot was thwarted, and the terrorists' capability to execute such a heinous act was brought to an end. The resolute response of the GIGN had a profound impact, deterring any further attempts at such a horrifying plot. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, knowing that the heroism and skill of the GIGN had safeguarded countless lives and prevented an unthinkable tragedy from unfolding. The memory of this courageous operation continues to serve as a testament to the unwavering commitment of those who stand ready to defend and protect innocent lives against all odds. That concludes this video. Feel free to delve into our previous videos for mind-blowing content. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to stay updated whenever we release intriguing new content. Until next time, farewell.